I was first elected to the Tempe City Council in the spring of 2000. I was 29 years old. I had a brand new daughter. Tempe had barely finished filling the lake with water for the first time. Our economy seemed unstoppable, and so much has happened since then. I'm a little older. I have 2 teenage daughters. My oldest, Allison, now has a driver's license, which I have to admit, it's a little scary, so make sure you watch out for her on the streets in Tempe. In these 16 years, though, we have connected to our neighborhood cities, all the cities around us, with light rail. We have built the Tempe Center for the Arts. The new lake is now the second most visited attraction in our state. And yes, it's a great gem, and water's filling every day right now. In these last 16 years, we've seen Tempe's economy struggle over the attacks of 9/11, then recover a few years later, then crash into one of the worst recessions of my lifetime, only to recover again. And today, we are creating jobs, we are attracting innovative businesses, and we are leading Arizona out of the recession. While so much has changed during my time on the council, one thing remains constant: our neighborhoods. And the residents like you are the key to all of our city's great success. Y'all should have some bingo cards. I'm going to try something new at your seat. And if I mention something in the speech, mark it on your bingo card. And if you get the proper bingo, just shout it out. I don't care when it is and what part it is during my speech, just shout out bingo. And I'll take the winner, whoever gets bingo, to lunch. And if you don't want to go to lunch, we have a nice coffee cup mug for you. But I'm sure, I think a lot of you might like a good meal instead. And if you don't have a pen, raise your hand, and our staff will help get you a pen that's around, our city staff will, to make sure we do this. It's something new and interesting, so in the interest of getting the bingo game started, here are some of the neighborhood accomplishments that I'm excited to share with all of you. So if you hear one of the phrases on the bingo card, mark it off, okay? So in the past year, the Tempe City Council signed an agreement to get high-speed Google Fiber in our community. This is a big win and a testament to our growing tech and entrepreneurial ecosystem. Speaking of the internet, we heard your concerns about the quality of the Wi-Fi that we offer in our library, and you should notice that the free internet service that we provide has greatly improved. Did you see the great solar panels out here in the parking lot within the library complex? It was one of my first initiatives when I was elected as mayor, when I took office, and to work with our solar community. We got the idea from ASU in Lot 59, and those panels provide 35% of the power for the library complex. It saves us $95,000 a year and gets us closer to our renewable energy goal. Plus, they provide amazing shade for parking as well as for community events. And I know I just mentioned this, but the new dam system at Tempe Town Lake is now functional. We've removed the old rubber dams and are now using the first of its kind steel gate dam, which is the largest in the United States. And as I mentioned earlier, water is already flowing back into the Tempe Town Lake. And we're going to have a great community dedication of that new dam in just a few weeks, so stay tuned for that information. And the city of Tempe was just awarded a $100,000 grant to establish a regional veterans court for the East Valley. This new centralized court expands the number of veterans served to at least 1,400 a year. Are there any winners yet in bingo? Okay, let's continue. Like I said, the key to our city's success is the strength of our neighborhoods. At the heart of our neighborhoods are our parks.
Bingo.
Mr. Shapira.
I'll take the coffee mug.
Got it.
Get lunch with you anytime.
So keep playing. I still have a lunch with David, keep playing. Some of my fondest memories as a child come from Meyer Park, which is down the street from my childhood home. I celebrated birthdays there. I rode around on my BMX dirt bike. I spent hours playing baseball, soccer, playing irrigation football, and skimboarding. All right, we'll make sure our staff recognizes you, and I'll take you out to lunch and a guest. When I say parks are at the heart of our neighborhoods, I'm not just speaking figuratively. Our city is actually designed around parks. Tempe has a neighborhood park every square mile of our city. The green space is central to who we are. But our parks, at their best, are much more than a pretty piece of land near our home. Parks are more than a place for for kids to play. Parks provide strong social benefits. In parks, we get to know our neighbors while we walk our pets, play catch with our kids, or while picnicking with friends. Those casual contacts are the building blocks of the strong community ties. So it isn't an exaggeration to say that our parks create bonds to help neighbors look out for one another. That makes our neighborhood safer. A well-maintained and frequently used park attracts and retains residents. They increase the pride in our community, and they improve property values. Studies even show that well-maintained parks reduce crime, and well-used parks improve the public health by fighting heart disease. So parks are important, but having so many parks in Tempe is expensive. When the recession hit, I know that your families had hard choices to make as well as sacrifices. Well, the city had to as well. One of the sacrifices we had to make was putting our plans to refurbish our parks on hold, and due to the recession, we put together a budget that only focused on public health, resident safety, and preserving our community assets. We cut staff, we cut resources. It was tough, but still, our team did it amazingly well considering how tough the economy was. Our recent community survey told us that you are very satisfied with our parks. That is something that we should all be very proud of. But it is my ambition and the council's ambition to ensure that we do more for our parks. Our parks should be the neighborhood gathering places that makes our communities stronger. I'm happy to announce that we are proposing investing in $49 million over the next 5 years into our parks, recreation, and pools. This will get us back up to speed on our maintenance and refurbishing. In fact, we are investing at such an increased pace that our Public Works Department had to hire extra temporary staff to get all of this done. The investment means more shade structures, improved lighting, safer playgrounds, new trees, ADA compliance upgrades, and other improvements. We are also investing to make sure you are safe in our parks. In March, the Tempe Police Department converted a general patrol officer into a new neighborhood park officer. All right. This innovative position will collaborate with community leaders like you, city staff, and security officers to leverage existing resources and increase proactive patrolling of our parks. This leads to more time responses to concerns and calls about park safety. Oh, one more thing. I'm sorry, I apologize for that. Park safety, okay. What the city house is doing is we can do even more, and we need your help. I've learned that over the fastest ways to improve our parks and to make them safer is for our community to use them on a regular basis. Basically, having fun in our parks makes our parks better. I'm urging all of you, especially those in neighborhoods and homeowners associations, to plan events in your neighborhood park. Here's an example. For the last several years, I've attended the Neighborhood Olympics. The Neighborhood Olympics started with some of friends getting together to brainstorm ways to raise some money for charity. A few adult beverages led to inspiration. The idea was to host a competition. A few weeks later, the first annual Neighborhood Olympics kicked off. There was food, tug-of-war, lawnmower races, and a lot of fun as well. Oh, and there was that whole keg throwing competition, but I think I understand that was only during the first year. The Neighborhood Olympics just celebrated its 4th anniversary. An estimated 200 people from at least 8 different neighborhoods showed up. Everyone had a great time. The event also raised $1,500 and collected a truckload of donated clothes and toiletries and school supplies for the Threads resource centers at Tempe High and Marcos Deniza. The Olympics is a great example of a fun way to use our parks. I believe that in this room, there are millions of ideas like this one, some smaller, as well as some even larger. The question is, how do we inspire more ideas to help turn them into action? So next month, I will propose to the City Council the creation of a new annual event called Neighborhood Park Day. The goal is to have one day next spring where this community event takes place in every single one of our neighborhood parks. Neighborhood groups, community organizations, Tempe staff, and hopefully people who have never been involved before will all have to work together to make this day a success. The idea is to help get neighbors and many who have never utilized the park closest to their home outside and enjoying what we have to offer. What this looks like for each park will be different. One could host a picnic potluck where neighbors can meet each other. Another could host a day of service where neighbors can get together to volunteer their time to improve their park. You could have live music or host a neighborhood kickball game, or there are so many creative ways to enjoy the green space near our homes. The key is to plan something that you think is fun and brings the community together. More people in our neighborhood parks reduces crime, improves our neighborhood, increases our community connections, and builds on our civic pride. So let's make Tempe Parks Day happen. One of the most important challenges we face in Tempe is responding responsibly to our growth. We need to ensure that people can get around. That means finding the right mix of public transportation, roadway improvements and enhancements, and encourage other modes of transportation, such as biking. As the economy suffered, so did the quality of our streets. The challenge of maintaining our roadways with limited funding is difficult. It is even more difficult because the state constantly and consistently takes away funds that should go to city roadways for maintenance. But despite that challenge, I'm happy to report that we do have a solid plan to get caught up on all of our road maintenance as we continue to recover from the recession. Over the next 5 years, we are proposing putting $53 million into our streets and in our right-of-ways. Road improvements and maintenance alone won't prepare us for the future growth. Public transportation plays a big role. Public transportation benefits everyone. It helps commuters to get to work, tourists to get to area attractions, and students to get to school. It also conserves energy and it improves the economy. Just a few years ago, if I told you light rail would generate $6 billion in the private construction and investment in our region, you would have told me I was crazy. But that's exactly what happened. Light rail is an amazing success. Beyond light rail, we're also improving our neighborhood circulator system. Not sure how you got here today, but if you live south of the 60, soon you'll be able to ride in the new Saturn route of the Orbit shuttle. The Saturn route connects this part of town as far southwest as Elliott and Price, and to the southeast at Guadalupe and Country Club. We have made great gains in both recreational biking options and biking routes for those who commute on 2 wheels to work. In fact, we received a gold level bicycle friendly community award. Lately though, when I talk about bikes, McClintock Drive comes up. I know many of you have strong support or strong opposition to the recent changes on McClintock Drive. I live and work just off McClintock, so I know the increased congestion that we are experiencing is frustrating. I also heard from many residents who are grateful for the bike lanes. And you know what? Both of those opinions are completely legitimate. I believe it is important to identify when we have made a mistake or when a plan isn't working the way we had hoped, but we cannot make knee-jerk reactions when we think something isn't working. We need to be responsible and act on good information. That is why I've asked for a report on the impact on the changes of McClintock from our staff, so as a council, we can make decisions on the next step based on hard data. We had the first report out last month, but we need more information. We'll come back and talk about it in October, and I hope that you'll keep us informed of your opinions of the project. There will be robust public input and up-to-date research ahead of any project that reduces traffic capacity, even if that project is already approved by the voters in our master plan. We can't allow this to end our commitment to multiple transportation options in our city. The future of Tempe will include more bikes, more public transportation, and other ways to get around our community. The last transportation item I'd like to highlight is our streetcar project. As a council, we are working hard to ensure the plan to get a streetcar in downtown Tempe, and we want to make sure that it is cost efficient, it doesn't hurt the character of Mill Avenue, serves the need of our community, and helps spur long-term economic development. See, I wanted you all to pay attention. I think it's working. You know, we were paid with the streetcar with a combination of federal dollars, regional money that can only be used on real projects, and support from the business community. And what may be the first of these types of projects, a private-public partnership between ASU and other properties in the areas directly served by the streetcar, will help fund part of this project. As a result, not a single dollar will come from our general fund or from additional taxes on our residents like you. This is a really big deal. Thank you. We also recently learned that technical advancements make it very likely that none of the trees on Mill Avenue will need to be removed for the overhead wires, and at very least, we will expect that the Mill Avenue portion, and potentially others, on the route will operate via battery. This is something that is a major priority for our council. This has been a long time coming, but I am confident that the streetcar will be as successful for Tempe as light rail has been for our region. No job is more important than educating the youth in our community as they prepare for college, career, and in life. We've got some great programs here in the city of Tempe that helps us do just that. College Connections, First Things First, the Believe I Can Academy, and we're currently working on becoming an official My Brother's Keepers community. My Brother's Keeper is a call to action by President Obama to create a cradle to college and career strategy that improves the lives of the young people of color. Working with community partners, we've identified three main goals: to ensure that all children enter school cognitively, physically, socially, and emotionally ready, to ensure all children read at grade level by third grade, and to ensure that the youth remain safe from violent crime and get the second chances they deserve. As part of this program, we won a grant from the Experience Corps to expand our volunteers programs that trains retirees to help young students improve their reading and literacy skills. We'll be submitting our local plan to the White House in the next few months, and it's something that we all should be very proud of. Speaking of seniors, last month we kicked off our initiative to make Tempe, Arizona's first dementia-friendly city. I did not understand how common dementia was until my mother's Alzheimer's diagnosis. 1 in 9 seniors have some form of dementia. So in Tempe today, that means over 1,500 people who live in Tempe have dementia. That number will grow over the next 10 years in Arizona, and we'll see a 71% increase with dementia. That is the biggest projected increase of any state in the country. So our community needs to be prepared, and that is what's happening with the Dementia-Friendly City, and that's exactly what Dementia-Friendly City is all about, preparing. The goals of the Dementia-Friendly movement is to prove that we as a community are not powerless, prove that our neighbors who are facing dementia are not alone, and prove that we all can do a better job supporting those living with dementia as well as their caregivers. The city can't do this alone. What is amazing about this process is that we are going to work together to cook up some ways for everyone to really make a difference. To get involved, please fill out a dementia-friendly Tempe volunteer form or join the workshop that we're having here today on this topic. I want to wrap this up, but I want to ask for your help one last time. In a lot of ways, we are facing a very difficult time in Tempe, despite everything that's happening, and maybe even because of our recent success. The Arizona legislature and the governor are going to great lengths to interfere with what cities are doing for their residents. This is especially true here in Tempe. Cities are the democracy closest to the people, and despite their pleas for federal government to leave them alone, the state legislatures are increasingly dictating to us what we can and can't do. Along the way, they often ignore the rights of cities and what cities have enshrined in our state constitution. Cities generate over 90% of the income taxes and sales taxes that our state relies on. But the state legislature continues to cut revenues and take fund that is dedicated to cities. We have a good story to tell here in Tempe about our success and why our state leaders and our city should work together. We can brag about the over 16,000 jobs that have been announced and over $1 billion in investment that we've generated since I've become mayor. We have great neighborhoods, a wonderful community, and innovative programs that are helping people every day. But we need your help to tell the story. We really need you to tell your story. We have training today after the awards to help us to better advocate for our neighborhoods at the state level. If you can't attend or are doing another workshop, please sign up before you leave for the Advocacy Action Alert email list. This way, you'll generate updates, you'll receive updates from our staff and occasional requests from us to contact the state leaders. Together, we can share our Tempe success story to everyone who needs to hear it. I just want to say that I'm very proud to be your mayor. I love serving this community, and I do my best every day. And I want to make sure you get everything you need, as well as the city council is so dedicated to this great city. And while there are issues that my colleagues and I debate and disagree on, we do so because we care so much about the city. And the good news is we agree on much more than what we disagree on. And I am confident that together we will continue to keep Tempe neighborhood strong. As I said before, we can't do any of this without you. So thank you for your leadership. Keep working with us to improve the great city of Tempe. Thank you for your involvement, and thank you for caring deeply about your neighborhoods. Thank you very much. And we would now like to go on to our awards. Our first award is for property beautification. Individuals and neighborhood groups nominated properties or projects that are outstanding visually. This award category also recognizes and celebrates properties that are impeccably maintained or feature outstanding holiday decor. Today, we will recognize our priorities with an honorable mention and one with Property Beautification Award. I'm sharing excerpts from the submitted nominations. The first one is the Bowman residents. The Bowmans have transformed their property, one tree, rock-scraped yard, into an architectural, modern, and natural landscape. This home has enhanced the beauty of the Alameda Estates neighborhood. The Bowmans worked with a local architect and were very conscious in soliciting feedback from the neighbors once they had a draft plan. They also went so far as to email their immediate neighbors when major construction was going to take place so they could plan for any disruptions. Congratulations to Judd and Casey Bowman for the Honorable Property Beautification Award. Judd and Casey were unable to join us today, so the staff will ensure that they will make sure they will receive their award. Let's give the Bowmans a round of applause. Yep. Okay. The next award is for the Cobain residents. The Cobains moved into the Altamira neighborhood several years ago. Their property is next to the neighborhood entrance, and the neighbors were excited to see many improvements to their home. These improvements include double-pane windows, a tasteful wooden front door, a new matching garage door, lovely sage green exterior paint, pavers, desert landscaping, and lighting features which accent the plants and the walkways. The home is especially beautiful at night. Congratulations to Tricia and Zachary Cobain for their honorable mention of Property Beautification Award. The Cobains were unable to join us here today, and we'll ensure that they will receive their award as well. And I'm sure Judy can hopefully help us get those awards to them. Let's give the Cobains a round of applause. Next, we have the Martin and Kaya residents. This house, now sitting on the West House Street, was a vacant dirt lot. A fire burnt down the original dwelling. The lot remained an eyesore for many years, and due to many reasons, was not sold until 2013. Tiffany and Jeremiah bought the lot on the West House Street and built a simple and attractive home with xeriscape landscaping. They are very proud of their new home and anxious to be involved in the Mitchell Park neighborhood. Please join me in honoring Tiffany Martin and Jeremiah Kaya with the Honorable Mention Property Beautification Award. Next, we have the Ward residents. The Wards have been putting beautiful ideas into reality with their property. They have flowers, a nicely manicured lawn, and original paintings and artwork on the front porch. After seeing the Ward's home, their nominator planted their own desert sage along the side of their own property and decorated the border with shiny stones. So not only have the Wards made their property an asset to the neighborhood, but they have inspired other neighbors to act as well. Please join me in honoring Andrea and John Ward with an honorable mention Property Beautification Award. We'll make sure that they will receive their award. And now along to the winner, the Levy and Crawford residents. Shortly after Josephine Levy and Robert Crawford moved into the Altamira neighborhood in 2003, they began to look for ways to improve their home. Both are members of the Desert Botanical Garden and have an appreciation for the desert environment. The terracotta painted exterior they selected mimics the desert, and they painted mesquite trees, cacti, and agave and creosote. They added a steel planter and an inviting stone pathway that meanders from the sidewalk to the home. The front yard is now a haven for all kinds of birds who make their home there. Josephine and Robert are a wealth of knowledge and very generous. They frequently donate the offspring of their plantings to neighbors who add them to their own yards. Please join me in honoring Josephine Levy and Robert Crawford with this year's Property Beautification Award. The Tempe City Council created the Neighbor of the Year Award in 1995. The awards honor the memory and contributions of Chuck Malpeat. Chuck was a high school teacher who lived in the Maple Ash neighborhood. He was a great problem solver, a neighborhood organizer, and had the knack of resolving conflicts. Each honoree receiving these awards demonstrate the commitment and passion for improving the quality of life in Tempe neighborhoods. First, the honorable mentions. Jim Beal, nominated by Jan and Bruce Mundy, neighbors and fellow residents of the Casa Fiesta Homeowners Association. Jim is being recognized for all the things he does for his neighborhood and folks who live there. Jim wakes up early and picks up trash, inspects the sprinkling systems for leaks, checks for bogs in the grass, and greets folks running on the greenbelt. This year, largely through Jim's chasing leaks and irrigation and manually cutting off water when he noticed leaks or rain. The rainwater bill from the community has been cut off in half. And now, when the trees were planted to replace downed ones, Jim personally hand watered and fertilized those trees until the irrigation system could be hooked up. Jim has lent his truck to haul things to donate to various charities and even helped to move a few things. Jim coordinates the annual picnic, making flyers, hand walking them to all 98 homes, and shopping for hamburgers. He universally is being loved by his neighbors, who always feel welcome at the Beals home. Please join me in celebrating Jim Beal as the honorable mention of Neighbor of the Year Award.
Okay, just checking.
Since 2012, the Altamira Neighborhood Association has sponsored both a spring and fall event in Goodwin Park. Kavita has constantly been a planning committee member, handling all manners of the grunt work, such as shopping for supplies, creating attractive invitation flyers, handling Facebook postings, and taking event pictures. For successful neighborhood projects, 4 successful neighbor projects have been realized as a result of Kavita's enthusiasm, leadership, and engagement. She initiated the creation of the Altamira logo, first giving neighbors 3 options to choose from. She became aware of the Humane Society's shortage of bath towels for animal comfort and organized a successful neighborhood towel drive. Kavita then developed a professional service directory, a kind of Angie's List for our neighborhood. In addition, she recommended service providers. Neighbors may also indicate that they own a business they would like to promote. Kavita also helped identify a Slack platform, enabling an online forum for discussion so that those interested could have discussions about their neighborhoods. Please join me in celebrating Kavita Bernstein as an honorable mention of the Neighbor of the Year award winner. Liz Volkmar is an example of what we can do to achieve sustainable living. She replaced her driveway with plants, doesn't own a car, and walks or bikes on her neighborhood errands. Liz was known to having interesting livestock in her yard, pygmy goats, chickens, and ducks. She welcomed the neighbors' children to come by and see them. Liz maintained these animals for milk, cheese, and eggs they provided, and is happy to discuss her organic gardening and animal husbandry experience with any visitors, and she also shares seeds and sometimes eggs. A 30-year Mitchell Park property owner, she was recruited to the board and also served a term as the chair. When the board decided to place a little library book exchange in the park, Liz volunteered to maintain the donations with help from her daughter, Tessa. This has been a great benefit to the park and to our neighborhood. Also during that time, the Tempe Tumbleweed Youth Resource Center moved near to our neighborhood, and Liz began to volunteer her time as a cook for the noonday meal. Her emphasis on healthy cooking and her easygoing personality led to staff to employ her part-time. Liz has very limited vision, which makes her extensive activities all the more amazing. She has been a quiet hero, never requiring recognition for her efforts, and we would like to honor her for everything that she has done. Please join me in celebrating Lizette Volkmer as an honorable mention and Neighbor of the Year award winner. Next is the Neighbor of the Year award winner. It was very exciting. Gary Roberts. Gary's nominator, Woody Wilson, met Gary in 2005 when they were both in Tempe Leadership Class 21. In the course of that year, Tempe leadership activities, they became close friends and remain so today. They share a passion for community service and have served on many boards, including the Tempe Community Council, the Tempe Historic Preservation Foundation, the Tempe Neighbors Helping Neighbors, which Gary was president for 5 years. Community service is something Gary was born in to do. He has a compassionate nature that compels him to help and go above and beyond what others would do. As the outreach manager for the Tempe Neighborhoods Helping Neighbors, Gary would not only visit the elderly applicants and enroll them in a program, he would also visit them privately in his free time to take care of their needs, including looking after their yards, taking them to the store, to the dog groomer, to doctor's office or pharmacy. Gary did all of that for free and even spent his own money on necessities. One of the hallmarks of a great civic leader is the ability to amass an effective team of people who not only believe in the community, but believe in him or her. They lead by example, by getting their hands dirty, and they do it quietly, never expecting accolades or acknowledgement. This is Gary Roberts, and it is the reason why Tempe is a much better place with Gary in it. Gary is an advocate for those without a voice, walking the walk and not stopping until there is a solution for every difficult situation. Please join me in celebrating Gary Roberts as Neighbor of the Year Award winner.
Should I stand in back? No, I'm here. I got you. One picture more for college. Thank you.
Our final award is presented to the Chuck Malpeat Neighbor of the Year Award winner, Darlene Justice. Darlene Justice is a special neighbor who acts to improve her neighborhood, whether that be with activism, historic preservation, park cleanups and improvements, park preservation, or issues of code enforcement or homelessness. She accomplishes much through her persistence, a positive attitude, extraordinary organization skills, and diligent work ethic. Her involvement with the North Tempe Neighborhood Association began sometime around 2000. She has hosted monthly meetings, coordinated multiple picnic in the park events, and evenings of informed information and ice cream socials. Darlene has helped to plan and organize a 2015 Getting Arizona Involved in Neighborhoods environmental fair. The event has been active in planning in initiatives and projects, including the North Tempe Multi-Generational Center, and previously served on the Canal Park Master Plan Committee. Canal Park is known as Evelyn Hallman Park. Darlene is a fantastic desert advocate. She understands the need to protect these areas and the varied animal inhabitants who live there, as well as the walkers, the hikers, the rock climbers, the mountain bikers, the bird watchers, the botany enthusiasts, and rolling hills golfers. Darlene has spearheaded advocacy efforts for businesses seeking to locate in North Tempe and has been an advocate for her neighbors in North Tempe as a member of the Tempe Aviation Commission. Historical preservation is another one of Darlene's priorities. She helped start the Tempe Historic Preservation Foundation, is a past president, and is currently on their board of directors. She worked with the foundation and the Tempe Leadership Class 20 to hold a successful first fundraiser for the Eisendrath House, which raised $45,000. And Darlene has been described as the initiator who gets an idea and goes for it to get it done. Please join me in celebrating Darlene Justice as the Chuck Malpeat Neighbor of the Year Award winner. Darlene. Let's give another round of applause to Darlene and all the award recipients. And I want to thank all of our staff from the City of Tempe and all the neighborhood association chairs and all the volunteers, not only for today, but also every day throughout the year to really make Tempe's neighborhoods and our community fantastic and awesome. We have one more thank you, though, and we have one more thankful presentation that we'd like to give out, and I would like to have Ron Tapscott, I believe you want to come forward.
Thank you, Mayor. Tempe Neighborhoods Together has been meeting for about 3.5 years. We're a pretty informal roundtable discussion group for neighborhood leaders. And in the 3.5 years we've been meeting, it's consistently repeated how much we appreciate the city staff. But there's 3 individuals that collectively represent neighborhood services, and we would like to notice their work today. I was driving out of my neighborhood, 7:30 in the morning one day, and Laura Kaifas was sitting in the grass doing a bike count. I'm not sure where Elizabeth is, but I'm the co-chair of a neighborhood association, and we spent several weekends in that neighborhood doing neighborhood cleanups. And Elizabeth, between her responsibilities with her family, took her weekend time to come and help us out. And Shauna Warner, every event I come to, you are there with the table answering questions and helping out. So please accept this very modest award. We are very happy and satisfied with your work, and we appreciate very much everything you do for the city.
And again, it truly is, it takes great pride, not only living in this community, but seeing so many people here today, seeing the involvement and the commitment really speaks volumes. And everyone should be proud of what they do here in our community. And it's just a testament to that, the direction we're heading as a city and as a community, and we know that we can't do it alone. So thank you very much. And again, thank you so much for coming, and have a great rest of your morning and weekend.